Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Ted, and today I'm hanging out with
Eric's Dave.
And today we're going to talk about Game Master's tips, how to keep that game rolling.
Jump down the description below where you can find Nerdarchy, the newsletter. You can learn how to game with us and gain also RPG tips delivered to your inbox.
All right, so we had a comment over on Facebook from Kyle, and he wants to talk about how do we keep that game moving.
Yeah, game flow, and like Ted said, keeping your game moving along. So I had responded to him on Facebook and with basically a series of questions as far as what's the problem, what's holding up your game, what's keeping it from moving forward. Because I also remember him saying. It seemed like they'd have a 4-hour session, but nothing ever got done. So as the GM, you need to put out clear, defined, not parameters, but objectives, right? You have to have objectives that your players are working towards. And it doesn't have to be a railroad. It can be a sandbox, and they can pick those objectives, but they should be moving towards those goals. If you want to keep the flow of the game moving. Right. The other thing is what's going on outside of the game, around the game. Is there a lot of side chatter and dick jokes? Is people acting out? Like that kind of stuff will also bring your game to a grinding halt as well.
Now I will say, whatever is happening at your table, if you guys are having fun and enjoying yourselves, by all means,
it doesn't matter. Yeah,
keep going. But if people are having problems because the story's not progressing and you can't figure out why, then there's things that you want to look at. All right, so if you have a rules call or rules questions that keep coming up, it's far easier and better to have the DM make a snap decision of this is what's going to work now, and after the game, go ahead and look that stuff up and make a final ruling and clarify with your players or the player that called it the question, this is how it's going to happen, this is what the rule says, so here's how I'm interpreting that from now on. Problem done.
Yeah, or not even from now on, just for now, until there's a clarification. I mean, even someone could look it up later on that's not involved in the scene and bring forth the information later, but not so it disrupts the game.
No, what I'm saying is make a snap decision then, then afterwards go ahead and look it up and say this is what it is.
Kudos, I heard something different.
So another thing is as Dave pointed out, what kind of side chatter is happening? Are people talking over the DM? Are they not paying attention to what's going on? Does the DM have to repeat themselves constantly, and therefore you're going through it over and over again, making it take twice as long to actually get anywhere? That's a problem, and this should be discussed out of game and say, look, we want to role play, we want to have things happen. So side chatter's got to be kept to a limited. If you don't feel like you're a part of the scene and you want to chat, step out of the way so that those involved can be a part of the scene and not actually have anything interrupted.
And I guess the other thing too is if your players in the game are kind of getting off as the GM and they're getting kind of off topic in the game, you need to try and bring them back however you can. This is the thing that you're doing. Trying in the game, entice them to get moving forward with it back. Come up with some reason why they have to get it done.
So, interesting things that you can do is to change what's going on. If people aren't interacting with what's there, put an action scene in. Even if it's just something that is like, all right, while you guys are chatting and droning on, something races across your field of vision.
Could do a wagon accident, anything that break state and disrupt what's going on to bring them back to the task at hand. Or at least moving the story forward.
Know your players. Know what kind of things that they're going to react to. Are they people that like to roll dice? Make a perception check or make an insight check. Even if you've got nothing there for them to go against, create something. Draw them back in through that mechanical thing that you know that they like. And if they get a good enough number, give them something for it. Not an item, but something that they've picked up.
Well, a piece of information, piece of knowledge. And the best way to implement this is to have it have something to do with what they're working on, their objective. for this instance anyway, like if you have kind of like a play style that's kind of meandering and you guys are all right with it and it's fun for you guys, that's fine. But if you're like Kyle and you feel like the games are never going anywhere, you're never getting anything done, and the other thing too is like to figure out if the whole group feels that way,
Right.
as well. So it could just be a matter of different play styles. As a player too, you can kind of take a little bit of control of this as well, and be like, get on point and tell the other players in game and the characters, like, we need to do this thing. The hobos are missing. We have to rescue them.
Yeah, as a player, you have the ability, if Fred and George across the table are sitting there having a conversation, call out to George's character, hey, can you help me out with this? Or, can you, what do you feel about this situation? Do you have any clues that we've been able to uncover? And if you're clearly using your RP voice or calling out to the character, not the player, it might just be able to say, okay, let me draw them back in.
And sometimes you just have players that do things in the games that are kind of like, they kind of like sidetrack everything. Mm-hmm. And like, you could use that very same technique to be like, Harande the Bold, really, I know you're having this in-depth conversation here with Mrs. Finkelstein, but we really need to go save the princess now. The whole kingdom could end up in peril. And hopefully draw those players back to the quest at hand.
But Mrs. Finkelstein's cat is so adorable.
Yeah, exactly. And you guys know what we're talking about. Those players exist. You've seen them at your table. They're lurking.
So is there any other situations that happen at the table that we haven't gone into that disrupt?
I know before we started the video, you said, disagreements or arguments. Try and resolve them quickly in order to get back to the game, or if at the very least maybe put them on pause until after the game and hash it out.
So like arguments about rules calls, we went over. If it's arguments not related to the game, save that stuff for not game time.
Well, the other thing too is just having a compatible group.
That's true.
Like, you want a good game flow, you put together the right group.
Right.
I know it's harder said than done. Sometimes you don't have a choice, but really, this is integral. You guys have to be all on the same page, and when that happens, everyone moves in the same direction, and that is going to produce the kind of game you want to play in. So whatever flow you want, that's how you get it.
Indeed.
So with that, you guys, what do you do to keep things flowing at your table, or do you not even care about it? Let us know in the comments below while you're at it. Like, share, and subscribe.
You can get some Nerdarchy swag over at nerdarchy.com.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.